After a long wait, the Transformers and G.I. Joe crossover movie is finally coming, but any hint of what the plot will be is anyone's guess. Here are some ideas we've come up with. There is an option to start the story from multiple viewpoints. It would certainly bring a good level of context to the movie overall, and potentially set up a good foundation for future team-up films. Instead of throwing the two teams together immediately, the movie could start with two seemingly separate stories that slowly intertwine. Maybe the Autobots are investigating a new Decepticon scheme while the G.I. Joe team is tracking down a terrorist group that's somehow gotten access to alien weaponry. At first, it looks like two different missions, but as the pieces come together, it becomes clear that they're both chasing the same enemy. This would also work well to add in Noah in his new role within the G.I. Joe team that was offered at the end of Transformers Rise of the Beasts, and could work as a liaison between the Autobots and G.I. Joe team. The moment the two sides come together would be a visual feast. G.I. Joe team could be in the midst of a full-blown combat scene where they think they're taking down a high-tech arms dealer, only to discover that the weapons are enhanced with Decepticon tech. It's then that Optimus Prime and his team could show up, and everything the Joes thought they knew about their mission gets turned upside down. This kind of buildup keeps the crossover from feeling rushed, and gives both franchises a chance to shine before the big team-up moment. But one of the most natural ways to bring G.I. Joe into the Transformers universe is through NEST, or NEST, Non-Biological Extraterrestrial Species Treaty. If you know the Michael Bay movies, you will have seen NEST being the military unit that teamed up with the Autobots to fight off the Decepticons. NEST was originally led by characters like Major Lennox and Sergeant Epps, making it a perfect entry point for Joe Team, which is already established as a top-tier special operations force. NEST were already operating on a level just a notch below what the G.I. Joe team does best, so why not bridge the gap? The movie could bring in characters like Roadblock, Snake Eyes, and Scarlet as elite commanders training NEST, or even having NEST become a wing of G.I. Joe team. Amalgamating the two forces would connect not only the Bay movies, but also provide some closure after the events of Transformers Rise of the Beasts. This would make their involvement in the war against the Decepticons feel organic rather than forced. Scarlet and Roadblock could get their hands on high-tech Cybertronian weaponry, or Snake Eyes could use Autobot reconnaissance tech for an infiltration mission. By integrating G.I. Joe into NEST, the movie avoids the pitfall of an awkward crossover and instead makes it feel like an expansion of an already existing world. There's precedent for this in the comics, where NEST is sometimes depicted as a government-run operation with G.I. Joe-like elements. The transition would feel natural, with a steady buildup of trust between the Autobots and G.I. Joe operatives. To add tension into the ranks, there would inevitably be some trust issues between the soldiers and the Autobots. Some of the G.I. Joe team would see them as allies, but others would need some convincing. They wouldn't be so quick to forget the collateral damage left behind from previous Transformer battles. Ultimately, merging Joe team with NEST allows for tension, high-stakes military strategy, high-tech warfare, and massive battles between the Autobots and Decepticons, making this crossover feel like a natural extension of both franchises. It has been done before, but the lost Cybertronian artifact trope could still be the perfect thing to drive the plot of the crossover film. The mystery and power behind it would make it a high-stakes target for every faction involved, setting the stage for an intense global conflict. It could have been discovered or picked up on radar by either the G.I. Joe team or Cobra, both of whom could be on a reconnaissance mission to claim it for themselves, whether to use it as a weapon, sell it, or keep it from enemy hands. However, neither side would be prepared for just how powerful or dangerous the artifact truly is. This could take the story to multiple locations, from jungles to deserts to urban battle zones, with the search initially being won by Cobra. Having the artifact, they could inadvertently activate its hidden abilities, sending a signal that alerts both the Autobots and the Decepticons. What follows is a massive arms race, with Cobra using the artifact's power to upgrade their weapons, giving them an unexpected edge against G.I. Joe. With new Cybertronian enhanced technology, Cobra suddenly becomes a force capable of standing against not just the Joes, but also the Transformers themselves. We could see incredible battles among the ruins of an ancient Cybertronian temple, where Cobra operatives uncover more lost Transformer tech and wield it against all comers, with high-powered weapons and reverse-engineered Decepticon drones. You can't have a great action movie without a powerful villain team up, and you can't get much better than the villainous power couple Cobra Commander and Megatron. Both are power-hungry antagonists driven by conquest and chaos. And let's face it, it's not likely to run smooth. First, Cobra Commander could strike a deal with Megatron, offering his army's tactical resources and human operatives in exchange for Cybertronian technology. This would be a smart move for Cobra, giving them advanced weaponry far beyond anything humanity has ever seen. If Cobra operatives were able to pilot modified Decepticon vehicles, they would no longer be a run-of-the-mill terrorist threat. They could take over the world in a matter of hours. Destro, the arms dealer, would become a reverse engineering powerhouse, changing Cybertronian tech to create an unstoppable Cobra battle force. It would provide fans a chance to see a new Cybertronian version of the Hiss tank, or Bat androids enhanced with Decepticon programming. But bad guys never stay friends for long. There will come a time where Megatron decides Cobra is no longer useful and turns on them. The betrayal would lead to an all-out war on 3 sides, where it's not just Autobots versus Decepticons or Joes versus Cobra, but lead to alliances being tested, infighting beginning, and the consideration of all against one, with Cobra and G.I. Joe team on the same side to defeat the Decepticons. Megatron and Cobra are all very well and good as the big bads, but if we're going to do this crossover, we might as well do it right. Bring back Unicron. Nothing forces bitter enemies to work together like a threat on a universal scale, and Unicron is the ultimate one. His return wouldn't cause another standard Transformer battle, it would be a fight to avoid complete annihilation. Unicron, the planet-consuming Transformer, is one of the biggest threats in Transformers lore, and his arrival could force even bitter enemies to work together. If Unicron becomes the major villain of the crossover, the stakes would skyrocket. It would be a great way to build tension by bringing Unicron in slowly throughout the film. Strange planetary disturbances could begin causing unexplainable earthquakes, bizarre energy readings that are so off the charts even the Autobots don't understand them. Then, the horrifying truth: Unicron has escaped his space prison and Earth is for breakfast. This is another route into enemies becoming reluctant allies, similar to Megatron's betrayal of Cobra that we mentioned earlier. Only this time, Cobra aren't coming cap in hand, and it would force the Autobots and Decepticons into their own uneasy truce. Cobra, despite their villainy, wouldn't want to see the planet destroyed, especially if they want it for themselves. And Megatron, who has always been ruthless, is not stupid. He knows that Unicron is a threat that has to be stopped at all costs. It would be incredible to see Optimus Prime and Megatron standing side by side with Hawk and Cobra Commander, planning on how to fight a literal world eater. This scenario would deliver some of the biggest action sequences in franchise history while forcing characters into new and unexpected scenarios that challenge their usual position. With the promise of a Transformers and G.I. Joe crossover hitting movie theaters in the next couple of years, there are plenty of storylines they can turn into reality. However this movie plays out, one thing's for sure: the potential is massive, and we can't wait to see how the movie chooses to blend these two iconic franchises into one mind-blowing event. What would your dream crossover storyline be? Drop your ideas in the comments. Thanks for watching Screen Rant.